allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning again, Marty.
The agenda ahead of us, we do have one addition. We've got a letter of resignation from P.J. Gredeman from the ambulance board. We add that to the agenda, and is there any other additions or corrections?
I'll move to approve the agenda with that addition.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second to approve the agenda with the addition of the letter of resignation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. With that, we have the board minutes from last Monday's meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, start out with the first item on the agenda today. We have two plats in our packet. One is in Maple River, Section 1, and the other is in Eden, Section 7. Two small parcels.
I'll make a motion we approve the plats.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the two plats. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Second item on the agenda today is to approve a fireworks permit for Steve Anderson and Joel Fox on 23082 140th Street. And that's in your packet also. And that's for the 4th of July.
I don't know of any issues, why not, so I'd make a motion to approve the fireworks permit for Steve Anderson and Joel Fox.
Okay, got a motion, need a second?
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second to approve the fireworks permit. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
The fireworks legislative issue is still alive, apparently.
The Patriot Act, I saw that
Mhm.
last night.
Yeah, down in the...
Close that one. Okay, with that, Dave's not here yet, so we'll go down to the manure management annual updates. We have two of them today, both are for Randy Cohorst. One is in section 16 of Wheatland Township, and one is in section 32. In both of those, there are no changes. So, go ahead and pass those down to Courtney. Okay, we'll go down next to the letter of resignation. I've got that here. Gene, have you seen that letter? Pass that down, Gene, you can take a look at it. From P.J. Gredeman from the ambulance board.
There's about 10 or 12 years worth of intellectual collateral going out the door there. He's been a valuable source to me. And he had made the announcement at the advisory board meeting held in May. And we weren't overly shocked by it, but certainly saddened, and he'll be tough to replace. I had made mention during that committee report following that meeting that PJ holds the Carroll representative seat, whereas Sarah Witchery holds the Breda representative seat, but Sarah now lives in Carroll. And I had mentioned to Dean that the board had said that if they wanted to have representation from a resident in or near Breda, Sarah would slide over to this seat, because Sarah's willing to stay on. But if not, Sarah would continue on as the Breda representative. And of course, that letter names Carol Shields as someone who is a designated candidate to take that position. And I know Carol well, and I'm certain that she would serve quite well. So Dean's not here today to report, but maybe if you want to just put it for next Monday's agenda, well, I think Dean's had time to see somebody, and if not, maybe we'll make the appointment next week. You all right with that?
Yeah.
So with that, I make a motion to accept PJ's letter of resignation with regret.
Okay, got a motion, need a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second to accept the letter of resignation from P.J. Gredeman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That pretty well covers everything. Is Dave there yet?
No, but he is coming early, because I told him we didn't have a lot.
We can start on committee reports and go from there. Neil, you want to start off on that?
I'll be glad to. Okay, first committee report, it was a short week, but Tuesday had an RSVP meeting. One thing we had come up at the previous meeting was an issue of a question about conflict interest. One of the other RSVP directors thought that it was a conflict interest to have elected officials such as me in the RSVP board. So we checked that out with our county attorney, John Worden, and absolutely not the case. And we just made sure that got clarified, and word got back to that other RSVP director that she was incorrect. Talked about things to come. The golf outing, which is a major fundraiser, is going to be on August 7th. With foster grandparent, that meeting is always held in conjunction with RSVP. They gave their report as well, and they're having an association retreat, and I'm glad to report that that is going to be in Carroll, Iowa, at the Carrollton. And we always enjoy it when they have district meetings in the town of Carroll, just good for our commerce. And so that's going to be here in June. Talked about the insurance claim. As you may remember, there was a water leakage above the RSVP offices. There's quite a bit of water damage. There's some problems with content cleanup and structural issues, but they've all been corrected, and settlement with the insurance seemed to be going very well. And you may have seen it also on the front page of the Carroll paper, but the little free libraries are done and getting put out. Now, it's kind of a neat situation. These would have been quite expensive to buy, and a director found out that there were some kids in Glidden that needed a shop project. So between the shop class and the art class, they put them together and painted them. It's kind of nice to have the younger generation have an ownership in something like that, and those will be going up around the communities. On Wednesday, I met at the CADC office with Shannon Landauer, and they wanted to discuss getting us involved with a housing study, and they're going to be here next week, Monday, and visit with us about participating in doing a housing study. So this is something that we can think about it, and there are some pros and cons to this, which I discussed with her, and apparently I don't know if they've asked to be in the agenda for next week, but she told me they would like to meet with us on June 8th. I explained that we're going to be one member short, but whenever they want to meet with us, we'd be glad to hear from them. On Wednesday afternoon, 2nd Judicial District, we had an executive committee meeting, and it was held by telephone. We just a short agenda. We had a new lease to approve with our Ames office, which was approved. And also, we had some work that needed to be done with our heat pumps at the B.G. Clark Center in Mason City. It's kind of interesting. We put bids out to have 19 heat pumps installed, and the bids all came in very high, and a big part of the expense was DAS, the Department of Administrative Services, wanted to manage it, and there was quite an expense to having them involved. So we denied or declined all the bids at that time because it got to be too much money. So we rebid, and our administration has been working with this quite a bit, and they feel quite comfortable in doing it without DAS. They can only do that if it's $50,000 or less. So we put the bids out, and we, rather than bidding on a project, we said, we got 19 heat pumps. How many can you put in for $50,000? So they weren't bidding a dollar amount, they were bidding how much work they could do for $50,000 to keep it under the $50,000, so we didn't have to pay an administrative fee for DAS to do this. And then we'll finish up the rest this year. So there were 3 bids, and the bids are all $50,000, and they all had different amounts of work and heat pumps they could put in and install. And we took the best bid and accepted that. So it was just a little kind of an innovative way to go about the bidding process that I hadn't been involved with, but it worked out well in this situation. It saved us a lot of money, and then it's not something we had to put the whole thing in at one time. Some of them had to be put in, some didn't. So that was Wednesday afternoon. I chaired that meeting, and we got that done. And I just want to follow up. I mentioned where our mental health advocate. I'm kind of waiting to hear back from Brett. I had sent him a letter on May 19th, just asking him to call me back about House File concerning them. What's the number on that? 468. And then I was provided his phone number, and I left him a phone message on Thursday, so I'm waiting back to hear from that. But I assume I'll be hearing from him shortly. And that was my week.
Okay, thanks, Neil. Gene?
Okay, on Tuesday, we were supposed to have a policy council meeting, that got canceled last minute because we could not reach a quorum. And then on Wednesday, I had a phone conference call with Head Start on their RAM program, which is basically go through the thing before we do our application for the next year's funding. And that went very well, and they were very satisfied. And then on Wednesday, at 5 o'clock, I also had another phone conference call. Well, that was with the policy council that we got on the phone. We had an issue that we had applied for a waiver for up at Lake City, and that was that we are supposed to have 128 days of schooling, and we only had 124 because the school was hit by that tornado. So we did get that approved and sent into Kansas City. And then Thursday evening, had a New Opportunities Board meeting. We went through the financials and reviewed the 990, and everything was done there. And then we did update some fiscal policies and procedures, did approve those. And then also we had a report on Head Start, and wasn't much there to report because we didn't have a meeting. But they had also the results from the class observations. Things look good, but it's kind of hard to determine because we can only compare to last year's scores. They will not give us the scores until they get done doing everybody this year. So you don't know for sure how you did. We think we did very well, but you don't know. We did approve a weatherization assistance program contract, DOE, for $11,1501. And also that we help the administration, on the amendment, we cannot exceed 11.77% versus the 12% that we had put in for last year. So it's not a big deal, but they came with that. Went through the community service block grant update for mid-year activity report. That was very positive. We did go through the plan for next year and had some discussion on next year's block grant for community services. And then we went through organizational standards and some of the new, talked about some of the new CSBG regulations and standards. That's in regard to that organizational. And then we also had an agency strategic plan that we reviewed, and we did approve that. We had a disclosures, let's see, no. Then we had a report on that. I told you down at Prairie, we had Congressman Young and David Bradley was there for that national, for that tour, and had very good follow-up on that. Okay, that was basically about it. That was my week.
Okay.
And I was up to Roselle several times. Looks like they will be paving the last stretch tomorrow.
That's what Dave and I went through Friday. Looked like
They
they
got
got the
the-
millings all laid.
They got the millings down Saturday and rolled, and I think they got trimmed ready, so they got a different machine in to do that last part. Because the older machine, 31 feet, will tend to get a little sway, the new one won't do that. So,
Hopefully the weather holds out.
that's my week.
Okay.
What day is the ribbon cutting?
We ain't gonna have her, I'm just gonna get the thing open.
I was just looking for a party. I had no official committee reports. I will give you an update from Thursday. Holmes Murphy had sent Courtney and myself an email out and copied Wellmark, and had said, wanted to paint a what-if scenario. They said that they're still awaiting the final rates from HM Life, after they're doing the review based on the up-to-date reports. And the question was, what's the feeling of the board by anticipating no change, what's the feeling of the board? And whether or not they would, you know, give it to HM Life, provided the rates stay at the, you know, 244, or whether or not it's close enough to keep it. And I just replied back that we're not exactly, don't have enough information to make a decision on, but I said that that's for us to know and you to find out,
Yeah.
so to speak. Because obviously, I mean, you know why they're posing the question. So essentially what I said was, I said, you know, it's going to have to be quote unquote very close. And I said the only thing up to debate is what very close means. And I said that I felt like I've got, you know, enough votes to move it over to HM Life if it doesn't get very close. So whether I do or not, that's not nearly as important as the response I gave. So we should have rates back to us, I really suspect sometime today.
I hope so.
So,
They were just asking you to show your hand in a game of poker, Mark.
Yeah.
I think you handled it correctly.
Thank you. So that was on Thursday, and then also on Thursday and again yesterday, just some personnel issues at the ambulance, which if it festers, I'll have to report. But as of right now, it looks like it's subsided.
Okay.
Always something there.
Yeah.
This morning, interesting, I was at a breakfast with our representative and senator, but there's another individual there who's working for the Census Bureau. And a lot of the questions they seem to be asking right now on behalf of the census has to do with housing and jobs. And it sounded something similar like what the CADC wants to hire done. And I asked if I could have access to the questions that they're asking. And I thought it might be helpful. And of course, they are very confidential about certain things. There's no way anybody's going to find out who they're going to talk to, who they did talk to, et cetera, et cetera. But he's going to check with his supervisor to see if I could get access to those questions that they're asking. And I think it would be interesting if I do get those questions, how they compare with the type of questions that would be asked by a housing study firm. So that may or may not happen, but I thought that was an interesting thing to look at.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, with that, we'll go down to secondary roads. Dave?
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, David.
Morning, Dave.
Nice morning, nice, it's warming up already, it's 60 out there.
Gorgeous day.
Sun shining.
Oh my. Kind of figured that might happen.
Yeah, I just gave the last committee report, Dave.
I'm trying to find the paper, I was just looking at the office about their employee classification change. And it's not showing up, just getting this pile of stuff.
Get him one of them briefcases with a filing system in it.
I think I can remember it. Maybe I mixed it in with some of this other stuff, I don't know. 3 employees in Historic, Shrek and Joe Manami. They've all been here 3 years. They're currently operator 2s. It's $19.23 an hour. They've all been here 2 years, excuse me. And there it is.
Got that sticky note on it.
It's sticky note. Their operator 2 is currently, which is $19.23 an hour, and I would like to advance them to operator 3. They've all learned how to run the grader. They've all had a territory. Currently, 2 of them are running truck routes in the winter, and one's running a grader route down by Dedham. Probably stay that way, I suspect, for a while with all the retirements we had. 2 of them kind of, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it advanced or whatever, they went into winter truck routes. And yeah, they're all working out real well. just been here, as of today, they've been here exactly 2 years, each one. They started two years ago on June 1st.
So basically you want to start them as operator 3s then?
Yes.
Glad to hear your reports that they're working out well.
Any questions or comments regarding that for Dave? Now we need a motion to approve.
I'll move to improve the employee, or do the employee classification change for the 3 employees Dave mentioned, Stork, Shrek, and Vanami.
Got a motion, you need a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Got a motion and a second for the employee classification change from operator 2 to operator 3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Bridge inspection agreement, it's kind of a small one this year. It's for 3 bridges. We've got 3 of our 8 total trust bridges, which are fracture critical bridges, that we hire out to a consultant. We do the rest in-house. Neither Paul nor I are certified fracture critical inspectors, nor would we probably want to be. You have to examine each element, look at it just face on. So you need the equipment. If it's a high trust bridge, you need the equipment or a super snooper to get at it, but you have to examine each fracture critical element. So it is kind of a time consuming thing. These particular bridges, Turner Bridge down by Old Carrollton, and then G7 and G9, which are both up by Litterdale. I can pass this map around here, and the Turner's down here. These 2 are up here. They've got some individual member problems, and they're on a 12-month frequency rather than a 24-month frequency. The remaining 5 are on a 24 months frequency, and that'll be coming next year. We'll have to redo these again, plus do those.
Is one of those on a level B road?
Yes.
Okay, by Litterdale there.
This one up here is on a level B road.
Yeah, okay.
G7. We've got G9 in the program. We've got, I think it is, what is it, J11 or is it J9? The Homos Bridge, I think it's J9. In the program for replacement right now. Some of them are kind of low traffic. And some of our last ones to replace are pretty expensive, and some of them are on low traffic roads. The amount of the agreement, I think, is $1,500.
Was how much again?
$1,500. That's their estimate.
Total for all 3?
Total for all 3. It's on the first page there, right? Page GM there.
What time frame, Dave, are you looking at that this has to be actually done?
They're gonna have to get it done in the next month or so, Marty. But,
Okay.
it's in fact, it's a May pitch, and we're into June, so they're gonna need to be getting it done.
Okay.
We're always kind of last minute with this for some reason or another.
Is there more companies do this?
There are, this one's really good. And there's one that does about 60–70% of the state. This one, I think, does most of the rest.
I see they're providing a service but not accepting any liability if they're wrong.
Oh, gee, is that really what it
Does that surprise you? Did I read that correctly?
You're probably, Yeah, if the thing falls in the drink, but there's
Can
a
we-
lot of variables there.
Can we throw that Dedham Railroad Bridge in on this?
Well, that one, they kicked off the system, so we no longer have to inspect them and rate them. They're no longer, they're not our bridge.
Yeah.
And for years, we inspected them and rated them, and, you know, went illegally on railroad property, I suppose. They never gave us any trouble for doing it. But they're no longer our bridge. I don't think they're inspecting them either.
Are you, I assume you're talking about Dedham, Iowa?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dedham Railroad Bridge would be a nice set.
We do take a visual inspection of that. Anyway, we don't do the reports anymore. We do take a visual inspection. Calhoun and Burns and HGM are probably the two top companies. Calhoun and Burns, I think, might have 60-70% of the state, and most of the counties hire their complete bridge inspection out. And they do the, by and large, the big share.
Well, $500 a bridge ain't bad.
No. And these are pretty expensive. There's a lot of effort, and there is a lot of, I guess, liability. If they would not do their job, if they would, I would see where there would be some liability there.
That first paragraph on there, the last page where they have all their fine print, it was kind of a,
Catch-all.
we're not liable for any damages. If anything happens, even though we're doing our best of our ability to inspect it. That's kind of how I read that one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think they'll have that in there, and
Yeah. It's kind of such a small deal. I think they get kind of formal stuff like this, but it's really, a grader tire costs more than this.
Need a motion to approve.
Also move.
Okay, motion, need a second for the bridge inspection agreement?
I'll second the motion to hire the, HGM to do the, inspect the three bridges for $1,500.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, oops.
I got a email from Stratford Gravel last week, and apparently, we had a contract with them for 25,000 tons, and they produced 30,000 tons. Monica doesn't know how it happened, I don't know either, but they produced 30,000 tons, and so they're 5,000 over. They say we could pay for it this year or next. Apologize for the confusion. It's not a problem. I don't think we'll use it up, and it is pretty darn good gravel.
What location?
At the Twin
Coins.
Pit.
Twenty, okay.
And at what rate is that? They give a discount on that being they,
No, they didn't.
they didn't assume any liability, right?
No. No. It's under that $100,000 aggregate repairs and mission.
So what is the price for,
It's for something or another, Gene, but I can't tell you. I can't
Okay.
tell you the penny.
same price as what it was, I assume?
The same price as what it was, yeah. I would think that probably the state auditor would look at the contract and say, well, the board said you can have 20,000, 25,000 tons, and how come you got 30? So-
And, I mean, you raise a good point, that we're only obligated to take 25, so, but if we can use the extra 5, and we're short anyway.
We can.
And is it good gravel?
Yeah, is it number 2, is it?
We're pretty impressed with, it's been pretty good gravel. We consider it one of our better sources. And, so, it's kind of a small area, a little hard to get in and out. Greene County buys gravel from them too, because it's kind of a natural for them. They put up a pile there too.
I would say at the very least, we pay them for the 25 now, and then wait until July 1st to pay them for the 5, at the very least.
I don't think they'd have any objection to that either.
No, I don't think so. No, there was no intent on their part.
Of course not.
One way or another here. It's just a mistake. But, yeah, that's probably, we're gonna be pretty tight, I think, come the end of the year, where especially in all our maintenance accounts, we're gonna be pretty tight dollar-wise. We're gonna have plenty left in our construction account, aggregate total budget, but maintenance accounts, those three general areas of the DOT budget, we're gonna be pretty tight.
Like you said, that area of the county, we've always gotten pretty good gravel out of there. You got that right pit in the Twain
Yeah.
pile there, it's all good gravel.
I heard Chuck say, and Chuck been around 30 years, he said that's the best gravel we've got out of a Middle Raccoon deposit.
Mhm.
And that's what I heard from reports from the guys too.
Quality of gravel is in the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's for sure.
Well, if we don't, it's just gonna sit there in a pile, and we probably buy it in the future anyhow. I would make a motion that we authorize the engineer to buy the surplus gravel with the contingency that can be paid for either year. This year, next year, depending on how the budget works.
If we could, we'd want to pay for it if we had, we'd watch
Yeah.
our bills and whatnot, if we had enough to
Yep.
pay for it in this current year.
Yep.
Okay, got a motion on the
So
floor.
that's the motion.
Got a motion, need a second, any discussion? Need a second otherwise?
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second to buy the additional 5,000 ton of gravel from the Twain stockpile. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Arcadia stockpile.
Now, the Arcadia stockpile is another horse of a different color. As you know, we're doing the county line, we're doing asphalt on the county line, and it's gonna have roughly almost 9,000 tons of shoulder stone on it. Arcadia Limestone is the vendor or the one doing the hauling for Norris Construction, and they've been stockpiling throughout the county. They've taken and stockpiled material, so it'll be readily available when the time comes when Norris wants to do their shouldering. They only have room at their pit, or at their place of business in Arcadia for roughly 1,000 tons, which they were gonna use for the northern 2 miles of the job that they've already contracted for, so they've got a shortfall of area. And Tom asked if he could use our Arcadia pit to stockpile in temporarily here in the meantime, which would be maybe a month to store that material in. I don't see any problem with it, but something I didn't feel. I should
What
authorize.
exact location is this? The storage area off of adjacent to Highway 30?
That.
Okay,
area,
that we
yeah.
rent from
That
them.
we rent from them.
That we
yeah.
rent from them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
When does that lease terminate? You know, off the top of your head?
No,
And are we renting it from them yet, or is it still from?
No,
No,
we're
rent
renting
from-
it from them, yeah. yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just couldn't
We've got
remember.
no rent of them, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll get the residual material, and it's okay, I asked Crawford County if it's okay with them, because they'll weigh it, they'll bring it in, there'll be stuff left over on the ground when we get it done. There always is, there's always stockpile area waste, and it won't be a big deal.
What's our annual rent there, Dave?
600 maybe?
I've got it in my notes somewhere, but I was thinking around 500, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Okay.
Them by doing this is really, it's gonna wind up saving us a lot.
It'll save us money, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see a problem with it.
They're just gonna be using our property that we rent from them for a short period of time. And we've got a stockpile in there of crushed concrete, that might make it a little bit of they'd get around and get to it, though we should basically be done using that, at least for that period.
I'm okay with it. It's just a unique situation where they're gonna be using property that we rent from them, and the bottom line is it's gonna save us money anyhow, and if we were renting it from somebody else, I think we'd probably do the same thing. you know,
I would sure hope so, yeah. if it's-
to save us money on the
'cause
county
it's gonna-
line.
Because if you think about it, that rock is, 60-some miles away, and you need quite a truck of fleets to keep, it's quite a fleet of trucks to keep the operation going. And this way, they can keep the
Close.
operation going, get it done, just haul from a few miles away, get it done right away, and Norris can move on to their next job. They're actually, in their schedule, which I passed around here, be a good time to talk about it. They pushed it back, their start date to June 22nd. It was June 8th, basically 2 weeks. It's been pretty wet down in Missouri where they're working right now. But the first thing they're gonna do is do all the asphalt overlays on all the roads. And we're gonna use that safety edge. And then they're gonna, while they're moving their plant to their next location, wherever that is, they're gonna do the shouldering. The trucks will remain, they'll do the shouldering. Now, if they had to bring that shoulder in from a long ways away, do that trucking, that would slow that whole process down, slow that whole crew down. And therein, they say that was one of the keys that won them the bid, having the shoulder stone access like this. Because it'll allow them the maximum efficiency and they'll finish quickly. I'll pass that around.
So which one is N58,
That's Green County line.
Green County?
Yeah.
When's the one by South Albert? That's
In 14.
14?
Yeah. I think M64 is last.
So we're looking probably around 1st July. I met people last week, that's why.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a good time to, they just called the other day with that, update the schedule.
Any motion to that effect? For the using that?
I don't know if we need a motion or not, it just, as long as you know about it, I didn't think it was something that I should do, just to allow the use of some of our property to a contractor that's working for us. It's,
I don't know if there needs to be a motion, but I think it needs to be noted in the minutes, though.
Yeah.
I agree, Gene. Why don't we note in the minutes that the consensus of the board was to allow stockpiling materials at the Arcadia location for the county line job? I agree with that.
I had a request from an individual the other day to put a few loads of gravel on the road between 2932 and 2833, Richland. I'll pass the map. It's the east end of that road is not a level B. It was removed for a hog building a number of
We're in
years
here now?
ago. There.
Oh, that whole stretch in there?
That whole stretch in there, that stretch beyond there that is level B. He's thinking 5 loads of gravel. I'm a little on the fence whether we should or not. If anybody's adamantly opposed to it,
Who requested it?
one of our employees kind of lives out in that neck of the woods. I think there's quite a bit of feed truck activity on
Yeah,
that
there
road
is.
coming over there. Marty probably knows what's.
I know exactly where this is at, I don't even have to look at it.
It's close to that one, the landing strip.
So it's still marked. You can see the bus.
So, yeah, I'm as usual, it's kind of a small deal, but I don't have any authority there, according to our level B policy, to just put gravel on
I guess I look at it, we've done it on other places when they've requested it.
that. We have, yeah. I don't think we've denied any. No.
I know some we've allowed gravel from one direction if they need to get to something as opposed to doing the whole road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the grader, actually in the winter, when he does these winter routes, this is kind of a pass for him to get through.
Right here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think the grader, actually in the winter, when he does these winter routes, this is kind of a pass for him to get through.
Right here.
But, it doesn't block up as bad as some of the other roads there, so he uses that.
This
I
is-
think that's a lot of what's behind it.
Actually, here. Just a mile north there.
What was it on? 170s?
270th, yeah, that would have been the way to say it.
I didn't know. I didn't know it was that bad.
I'm trying to see it, yeah.
I have no problem with it. It's what we do. If it needs it, needs it. Because we don't want to let it go further back. If you need a motion, I'll make a motion. to authorize.
Okay, got a motion, need a second?
I'll second it. I'm good at seconding motions today.
Got a motion and a second.
Took me 7 years to find my place here.
To, put gravel on 270th Street and a level B road. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Drains.
Drains. I really don't have a drain specifically. I had a landowner call me the other day who's got all the equipment. And he just hired a fellow that I actually know from Greene County that's a tiler. And he farms some ground where the drain is in bad shape. It's Tom Crystal's ground in section 15 of Union Township. It's has some, I think it's drained 99, and some in 9 and 13. And look at section 15 and 9 and 13. I was talking to Marty with it the other day on the way to Hungry Canyons. He wants me to come out and look at all the bad spots. I think they just kind of went and they haven't reported these bad spots. They just kind of let them run out in the waterway and kind of cause trouble, but the drain needs repair. And I think he's interested in doing the repairs as a private contractor. I think his motives are really good. You know, in the past, when I came here back in '72, we had a private contractor that did all the drain repairs. The county didn't get involved in it at all. And at that time, they weren't getting the response time they wanted on some of these drains, so they pretty well facilitated. They bought a backhoe and we kind of got in the business of drain repairs, which we legally can do, and we could legally hire a contractor too. I thought it would be good if Marty knows the guy, and I know him too, and know his capabilities, and if maybe we both go out there and have a look at it. And I guess that's all I'd say. Now we'd have a look at it, report back, and see what you think.
What's your schedule looking like tomorrow morning?
Well, come find out, he called in this morning and said he's got a school down in St. Louis he's got to go to all week, so he's going to call next week, so it's not
Okay.
quite the rush that it is.
Okay. So maybe go next week.
Yeah.
I'll be back on Wednesday probably next week. I'll be gone for a few days. I'll give you a holler when I get back and we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Anything else?
Anybody got any
Well,
problems?
I just think we need to be specific about the repairs we do there and just not allow wholesale tiling to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we look at it, we can kind of see what the areas of
Sure.
problems are.
Yeah.
Go from there.
I look back at some of the bills, the last, and I didn't bring it with me, there was a bill, apparently Pimble was on there working for the landowner and ran into some of the troubles and wound up hiring him at the time. This was the last bill in the stack anyway that I looked at. There's surprisingly not a lot of bills in '99. We've still got 15 minutes to the letting. I'll pass this estimate around. Division 1 is our portion, $310,000 roughly. Division 2 is the RISE portion, $240,000. And then there's the total of $550,000. We had to break it down that way for the DOT. I think today, you know, we can make our award, if you so choose, but it has to be contingent upon their review. We'll have to send this down, and they'll have to comply with the targeted small business requirements.
Wouldn't we be just good off wait till we get their approval and do both at the same time?
I suspect.
Because if they don't get approval, then we're gonna be looking at something different, aren't we?
Yeah, I think they will, but.
Yeah, I'm sure they will, but.
And I don't know this, you know, if there's gonna be that much lag time.
I guess if you do a contingent, you.
With them
Cover
coming
bases.
June 22nd and starting, a few days may or may not make the difference as far as, you know, getting materials spoken for and getting things lined up.
That's true.
I don't know. I suspect we could ask the successful bidder. We'd need to, you know, process the contracts and get all that done, so I guess any jump we can get on it would be good. But I don't know, whatever you're comfortable with.
Makes me no difference, I guess. I just thought ahead.
Yeah, there's quite a few rules with the RISE, though there's less with this one than the actual competitive one. It looks like the actual amount, you know, if it does split out down here, it would be half of that 240, it would be what we'd be getting out of that. But we don't even know yet what the bid's could be. It might be far off what this estimate is.
This, just a question, doesn't have any much to do with Gene's question, which is still out there, but is it possible did we bid these Division 1 and Division 2, did we bid it as a total project?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not possible to get a low bid on Division 1 and a low bid on Division 2?
No, it's, did the bid on the total, but we need to report on Division 1 and
Okay.
Division 2.
So they'll break it out 1 and 2?
Yeah,
But-
and they should, because we've got quantities for each one, and the
Okay.
quantities could vary. You know,
Right.
instead of putting 1.5 on, we could put 1 3/8 or 1 3/4. You know, the quantities undoubtedly would vary, but we'll have a unit price, and it'll be the same for both Division 1 and Division 2, because they've got all the same bid units except for rumble strips. There's no rumble strips on Division 2. That's the only one with a zero quantity. Otherwise, everything was split, and the DOT was okay with the way we split things half and half, even though the projects aren't quite half and half. Our project is actually longer and thinner. Ours is 6,000 feet long, and the RISE one's only 3,500 feet long.
Well, I think you raise a good question, a fair question, but as for me, I'd be okay with, you know, awarding the bid today
Yeah.
based on the
Contingent.
contingency
Yeah.
And I never
of
thought
DOT
about
final approval.
Timing for them for ordering materials, they're gonna need to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they'll.
I just withdraw my question. I ignore it.
It's good to think about stuff like that.
I know, but I never thought about the ordering of materials.
Dale's making the material, the gravel material, you know, which is kind of a minor component, and I think they've got some millings from a Guthrie County job, that they'll be actually bringing those millings in to be probably up to 15% of the project quantities, and the rest of it will be limestone from Martin Marietta, which shouldn't be a problem. But and then, you know, the other work that we've got is interesting. At any rate, that's all I can think of. I think Roselle, I think they're talking 10:30 tomorrow.
Good.
Do you want to make copies of all of that for all of us?
I sure will. I was going to.
Do you have just the one sheet?
I was gonna take this sheet with all the bids and make a copy for that,
Okay.
for everybody.
That's fine.
And, this one doesn't have both divisions on it, but I can sure make a copy of that.
That one's fine. Yep.
Courtney's got her computer ready to take that. We get the bids and we can go in and enter the unit prices and then check the math on the bids.
Okay.
I do have a kind of simple sheet right now just for recording on, which is, probably could have just scratched it on a piece of paper, but it looks.
Got about 10 minutes, should we do a short recess?
Good.
Sure. Do a 10-minute recess till 10 o'clock.